All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. We're just about to get started here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and switch things over so you guys can see me. Hey everyone. All right, so hopefully you guys can see me now. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and excited to get underway with today's webinar, brought to you by Sharefaith Academy, and specifically in the world of VBS. Yes, it is that time of year already, and I know many people who are joining us today have probably been in preparation mode for a while. Some people might be in a position now where they're just starting to get underway. Others are already looking towards next year. So no matter what boat you find yourself in, I'm glad to have you guys here with us, and I'm excited to discuss what Sharefaith Kids... Oh, one sec. Hold on. I'm getting a message. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure we had a little delay. Wanted to make sure the display was coming through. Perfect. Okay. So as I was saying, regardless of what position that you're in terms of getting ready and getting started with VBS, before we begin, don't want to get too far ahead of myself. If this is your first time coming to a Sharefaith Academy webinar, welcome. Glad to have you guys with us. And if you're not familiar, down below the player, you should see a spot where you can chat with us and chat with each other as well through the time of the webinar. I'd love it if you guys would just take a second to go in there. You can either just put in your first name if you want, or you can connect to your Twitter if that's easier for you, however you want to do it. But then once you've got that, you can chat with us. And I'd love it if you guys just take a second to do that, say hi. And I'd love to hear it from those who are tuning in with us, kind of where you're at right now. Are you in a position that you are all ready to go for this year and you're already looking on to the next year for VBS? Are you maybe still considering your options for VBS this year? Or maybe you're just still researching, not sure what to do, or looking for some more resources to go with VBS this year. Whatever boat that you find yourself in, I'd love to kind of see where you guys are at so I can see who's with us today. And we're going to cover a lot of different things, talking about Vacation Bible School, the significance of what it can do for our churches, and then looking specifically at all the cool, amazing things that I'm just so proud of and so excited to see Sharefaith Kids doing with Vacation Bible School this year. And also, just a heads up, as you guys might have seen in my emails going out letting you know about the webinar, we are having our Memorial Day sale. Just a heads up, that is done tomorrow. There's the last day of the sale is tomorrow. So if you guys are looking at joining, renewing, or upgrading and saving 20%, be sure to look into that because that's ending tomorrow. So just wanted to let you guys know that. All right, so now let's go ahead and get started. Before we do, I'd like to pray for us, and then we'll begin. Father God, I thank you for this time. I thank you for just the opportunities that we have, all of those who are here to learn, here to kind of see whatever position they're in, Lord, wherever they're at with their planning in these stages, or they're considering what's going on with the VBS in the world today. God, I just ask that you would be with everyone here, and just if this is a resource that they can really utilize, Lord, I just ask that you would inspire them, that you would help them to see how this can be a valuable asset to their students, to the volunteers, and to their church as a whole, Lord. And I ask that for this time during the webinar, that all would go smoothly with the presentation and broadcast, that we have no technical issues, Lord. And Father, I just ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, obviously, as you guys know, Sharefaith did just launch our amazing new Kingdom Heroes VBS, which I'll talk a bit more here in a bit. But first, I wanted to ask you guys, I just wanted to make sure, first of all, you guys are familiar with who Sharefaith is and Sharefaith Kids in general. So if you guys are asking, what is Sharefaith Kids? I know we're going to have some people here who already have Sharefaith Kids and are using it in their churches, and there are others here who have not used it or maybe not even heard of it yet. So Sharefaith Kids is part of the world's largest digital library of church graphics and resources through sharefaith.com. With Sharefaith Kids in particular, we specialize in looking at Sunday school resources, different content and materials that can be used in your Sunday school classes, children's church classes, and now VBS as well, to be able to really maximize the engagement with your students and make things, hopefully in the long run, much easier for your volunteers and staff as well. our goal here at Sharefaith, to sum it up in a sense with Sharefaith Kids, is we want to, apart from sharing the gospel, of course, we want to build confident teachers and inspire your kids. We want your children to be inspired and to want to know and grow closer with God, and we want the teachers and volunteers who are giving their services to your church to be confident in their abilities to do so, and to just feel like they have an awesome resource at their fingertips with it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about VBS. So the question I have here is, who is your VBS audience? And to that I say I've got about 4 answers for that, and I'll go through each of them with you. The first, of course, being the children, the students. VBS is an amazing time where we have opportunities as teachers to invite children to come to the church or wherever we're holding VBS and be able to just be around other like-minded believers and be able to soak in the Word of God. And so obviously VBS is a huge ministry for that. I can speak from personal experience that VBS was very instrumental in my life in coming to know Christ when I was very young, attending the church summer VBS in my area when my family didn't regularly go to church. So for a lot of children, it's sometimes their first experience coming to church, and for others, it's a way that they can get much deeper experience. So, of course, our children are one of our main audiences that we cater to with VBS. Secondly is the parents. As I said, my family didn't go to church much, but the fact that I started attending VBS and was interested in coming to other events at the church helped to get my family's foot in the door when I was a kid, and to the point where we eventually did start attending regularly. So something like that is huge, where we have an opportunity not just to minister to the students who come, but also to their parents. And this could be through, of course, apart from just advertising VBS, but also like meeting them at the door when they come to drop off their children and pick them up, and inviting them to come to a service. So there's opportunities there where we can do more in outreach to the parents as well. And then, of course, it's also an opportunity to speak to our volunteers or our potential volunteers and getting people on board with ministry in your church. I believe that definitely one of the biggest things that as a church or in church leadership we need to focus on is how we can equip the saints for ministry, as Ephesians tells us. So having something where we can make things accessible for volunteers, so it's easy for them and it makes good use of their time and efforts, then that's a major resource that the church would look into using. And I know that that's oftentimes when we ask our members what was one of the biggest factors for them in deciding to use Sharefaith for whatever resource they have with us. Ease of use was the #1 thing. And so making sure that volunteers can get access to it and that it's something that helps them to come into a volunteer position more easily is a huge deal. And then lastly, I want to say our community as a whole. So obviously, we have the opportunity to directly minister to the children, to the parents, to the volunteers at our church, but to our community as a whole, to see what's going on at church and recognize that opportunities are there where they can come to be a part of the church and serve. I know like with some cases, like choosing your location can be a huge thing. I know many churches will hold VBS this year in their church buildings, which is great, and they've got the facility set up for that. I know some cases, like my church is actually doing it in the park this year because we want it to be in a position where the community can come by and see what's going on and kind of ask questions and understanding like, who are you and what are you doing? What's your mission here? And so those are things that we're hoping to have opportunities open up for us that way. So if you guys can think of anything else too, like maybe another audience that I'm missing, or perhaps have any other feedback on that or comments on that, please let us know. We love to kind of get some discussion going during the webinars, and so just anything you guys would like to put in for that'd be great. All right, so now let's talk a bit about the Sharefaith Kids VBS and what comes with this. I know that with VBS there can be a lot of questions, especially when this is really our kind of introduction into VBS apart from just Sunday school curriculum. So with Sharefaith Kids VBS, a few things that we really want to help churches succeed at doing is recruit, promote, and deliver. And if you've been to our VBS page, you've seen how we kind of break things down for that and what we offer. So with recruiting, as I said, VBS is a fantastic opportunity to get people involved. And so having resources at your disposal that can help you do that, such as posters, flyers, social media graphics, website graphics, announcement slides, all of those things come with the promo pack for Sharefaith Kids VBS. So you've got everything you need media-wise to get the attention out there so you can bring up the discussion and get people excited early on to be able to start volunteering right away, so you can get those people signed up and ready to go. For promoting on top of all that, with all that other stuff too, those are great resources to get parents in your community excited about it. So, just letting people know when and where VBS is being held and kind of give them some information about it. And again, having amazing graphics at your disposal just to make your jobs easier, so that's not one more thing you have to work on, but then getting it out there so people can see it and start talking about it right away. And then finally, delivering it. So with delivering VBS, of course, you've got all your curriculum, your materials that you need during the VBS, but then other things too, like some stuff that you want to keep in mind as you are getting ready to actually have VBS going. Getting a schedule set up for your volunteers and getting a schedule set up for your stations and activities that you're going to have going on is a huge one. So that way everybody who comes is all on the same page, knows exactly where they're going, when they're going to be there, what their responsibilities are going to do, and we have a VBS checklist that comes with the VBS as well, so you'll know all the different positions that you could possibly be looking for someone to come in and jump right into VBS with you guys, and then understanding too, and there'll be a schedule breakdown for the lessons as well, so you'll know when you guys are planning to do stuff, so you can get all that set up with how you're going to play it out. And then finally, a huge recommendation I have is getting together with everybody who's committed, who the volunteers are who are coming, and just running through things in advance so that people recognize the flow of how it's going to go and have an idea of what they'll be doing, and get a little bit of hands-on approach with that first before you actually jump into VBS week. So those are just a few suggestions, and if there's anything else you guys want to recommend too in terms of like a checklist or like a flight list in a sense for VBS, I'd be happy to hear those. Another big one actually I just remembered too is your equipment. So anything you guys are doing equipment wise, making sure that you've got it all running up and smoothly, and doing some tests with it to make sure, like, so if you guys are doing slides and videos and things like that that come with the VBS package, how you're going to do that on a screen, on a projector, whatever your approach is going to be, that's all working smoothly ahead of time. So those are all things that I highly recommend going through, and as I said, if you guys have any other recommendations, I'd love to hear them in the comments. And by the way too, at the very end of this, we'll have some Q&A discussion, so if there's anything that you guys would like to see more of or have more questions on as I'm going through and showing you some different resources here, by all means let me know, and I'll be happy to pull that up for you guys whatever I can during this time. So all right, so now let's talk a bit about what comes with the Sharefaith Kids VBS. So first of all, you get 5 complete lessons on the foundations of faith. And let me switch this over so you guys can see my screen. This might be a little bit easier for you, I think. Okay. So we have 5 complete lessons on the foundations of faith. So the subject of Kingdom Heroes VBS is based on the foundations of faith lessons in Sharefaith Kids, and you guys will see those have been completely restructured from the ground up to work for Vacation Bible Schools. So you've got a full 4-hour schedule planned for each of those days using those lesson materials. So you guys will see that. And as a bonus too, for everyone here who's attending the webinar, I'm going to follow up with you guys and make sure that you get a copy of the materials for the first day, so you guys can really see that. We provide that free on our site, so I'll make sure you guys get a direct copy sent to you so you have access to that. And so with that, as I said, it's not just a lesson, but it's a full VBS curriculum and schedule. So as I said, with this, it comes with everything you need, a full breakdown for a 4-hour day each day for 5 days. So now if you need to restructure that, of course, you guys could plan that out with your team and figure out when you're going to do that and how that's going to look for your church. But this just gives you everything you need. So if you are going to have something that long, I know some churches maybe just do a couple hours a day or might only do like 3 or 4 days out of the week. So you guys can see how that needs to be restructured to fit with your schedule if that's the case. And as I said before, there's a VBS checklist, so it gives you everything you need. Lets you know all the materials that you're going to have at your disposal, which roles you want to fill with volunteers. And I understand, if you are a small church and you don't have access to as many volunteers, you might be looking to kind of have one person fill multiple roles. But it'll let you know essentially, like based on your setup and your classrooms, your groups, I should say, for VBS, then you guys can go through and determine who's doing what for that. Promotional materials are included, so I went through all the list there. You've got your posters, your flyers, your social media graphics, your website graphics, announcement slides, so everything that you need to let people know about it and get them excited in advance. The Vacation Bible School is just around the corner. And of course, what is VBS without swag? So swag is included. So by swag, we mean things that you can hand out for claiming prizes at the end of VBS, so award badges and stuff like that they can get as they progress through. So that way, of course, you guys have you'll have your means of getting together some prizes and everything for at the end of your VBS, and people can exchange those for prizes. So we made sure that we've included some branded materials that have the Kingdom Heroes logo on them and everything, so it all fits with the theme of your VBS. So that's right. And then last but certainly not least, different games, skits, and activity suggestions are included with this one. These are unique to the VBS, so they're not just the same thing that you'll find in the lessons, but there are some fun games, some ways on showing how you can create some skits with the lessons, and then different activity suggestions and recommendations that are available for each day as well. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the slides here that come in the first lesson, just to give you an example of the way this kind of breaks down. I'm not going to show you everything, obviously, because there's a ton of material that comes with each presentation, but I'll just go through and kind of give you an example of some stuff. Now, I love this, and these I would even recommend using something like this for your day-to-day Sunday school classes that you do, but I love the fact that our director, the director for Sharefaith Kids, David Choate, he spent years working in Sunday school ministries and youth groups, serving as the Sunday school director at his church. And so one of the main things that they really wanted to make sure that, having expectations set up front for your class as it begins. So there's a few slides preloaded in here with some things that he's learned over the years in terms of what to communicate to children as they arrive. So this one says, be safe, and it uses Proverbs 133 as kind of an example verse from the Bible about how we ought to treat each other and be safe, and make sure that we are, being safe in how we go about, like we're listening to all the things that were restricted areas, and then being respectful. So don't push each other, don't hit each other, don't run around and throw paint on each other, things like that you can go through and just make sure to clarify with your kids ahead of time. And being responsible, so making sure the kids, are there, who are listening, they're paying attention, they're on task with what the teachers are telling them. And something like this, it's so nice just to have a kind of a precursor to set expectations for your students. Obviously, you might still get a kid who, is, not going to church all the time, or isn't familiar with how to behave around other kids as well. So you guys can might assign someone to work with those students individually, so that they're staying on task and everything, however you want to handle that. But this is just a great way as a class a whole to communicate to them what your expectations are. Also, name tags are included, so cool name tag designs are included that you guys can print out and use. And of course, give those to your leaders and your students alike. And here's a slide for leader introduction, so you guys can go through. It's always great to make sure the kids know your leaders' names and kind of get an idea of who's there and who they can come to if they have any questions or problems or anything like that. So making sure that leaders are properly introduced and they know who they are. And then, as I said, award badges, bringing that up right at the beginning, let them know how that works. So however you guys plan to do that system, if you're going to do a thing where you'll have badges that they can earn throughout that they can exchange, kind of like you'll see VBS bucks and stuff like that. Or, you know, some churches do it too where they do like a drawing. So you earn badges and put your name in at the end, and then there's drawings for prizes. So you can calculate how you're going to do that with your students. And then it goes right into the lesson materials. So it'll have a full slideshow of you, and the video is separate from this, so there's still a video included as well that they can watch ahead of time, just a few minutes long. But then there's a full slideshow with a story, and it also has a big idea that they can grab from the story. So what's the main point that really the story wants to hit home with them? And then a memory verse for them that they can practice, and then slides to introduce different periods throughout VBS. So things for game time, snack time, of course. What's VBS without snack time?
Snack time.
Snack time's personal favorite. Skit time, and then a closing prayer at the end, so you guys can close it. But then after the prayer, there'll be an opportunity for other activities that you guys can do. There's print activities that come with these, so you guys can do that, and you can choose. You can let the kids choose what they want to do, or hand out specific ones. So you'll have options for crosswords, coloring pictures, coloring sheets, mazes, word searches, lots of different stuff they can do. And then another awards badge just to let them know, like, hey, now it's time to trade in your awards badges and get some prizes and cool stuff. And then it'll let them know, this is what we're going to do tomorrow. So I love that this is just forward thinking and letting them know, like, hey, come back tomorrow. We've got another great lesson for you guys. There's going to be more fun and activities and stuff, so they can get excited about that. And then just a closing slide. So that's just what comes with the slideshow side of things. And as I said, I'm going to send you the first day materials, so you'll see kind of all the things that outline what the first day. It'll have the schedule for you guys, and you can go on to sharefaith.com too. And that's on the VBS page, and there's areas too where you can get all the materials for promo and swag and all that stuff too once you're signed up as a member. All right, so now, apart from VBS, I just wanted to let you guys know, because we are talking about Sharefaith Kids, and of course, if you guys have questions right now about the VBS materials, be sure to let us know before you forget those things, and I'll be happy to get into those questions and answers with you guys at the end of this. So, apart from VBS, Sharefaith Kids is packed with tons of additional features. Different things. We have over 90 weeks worth of curriculum. So this isn't just a VBS. Like, the VBS is an amazing aspect to it, and alone I would say the VBS is worth, you know, the price point for it. But apart from just that, you have over 90 weeks worth of lessons at your disposal. So you've got over 2 years already built up there almost. So you'll have, and we have new lessons coming out all the time. So 90 weeks worth of curriculum and resources, and so every lesson comes with lesson videos, a slideshow that has all the different stuff that you saw there with the closing prayer, big idea, memory verse, the slides for the lesson itself, Q&A slides. So I love the Q&A slides aspect of it, because it really engages the kids more and helps them to kind of, it gives the teachers more to work with in terms of like how they can, you know, bring the lesson to their students' understanding more easily. So I love the way the Q&A slides works, because the first question it'll ask, each lesson essentially has 2 questions and an answer. So there's one question which just asks a question straight from the story that they just heard, and then a answer for that. So it'll be something direct, you know, that they'll say, like, you know, who was it who denied Jesus 3 times, and then answer Peter. And then a follow-up question, you know, that will be more application based, and it'll have notes for the teacher in the curriculum so they know how to direct that question for their students. But it's more open-ended, and it causes them to think more about it. Like stuff like, you know, if we talk about like Jesus denying, or Peter denying Jesus, we could say, you know, how would you feel if someone who is your friend turned their back on you, or something to that effect. And so you can see all these things are laid out ahead of time for the teacher so they can understand where this discussion can go. Print activities are also included with each lesson, so all those cool activities that you guys saw us talking about with the coloring sheets and everything, those are included with each lesson, has their own full set of those things. And then we even have some fun trivia videos. So I love the fact that the VBS includes the trivia videos. So you'll see that in the pack that you guys get. But it has a video that has like a cool 5-minute video or so where it just is some fun trivia questions that come up from all over the Bible, and it'll ask things kind of similar to that, where there'll be multiple choice and it'll have like a little countdown timer in between each question, so be sure to check those out. And then there are also kids countdown videos included with each lesson. The VBS even has its own really cool countdown with including epic music for the VBS one, and just gets you pumped right beforehand. And now this is another really cool thing, and this comes back to the volunteer aspect in your teachers. I love the fact that Sharefaith Kids has these what we call teacher intro videos for each lesson. And essentially what it is our director, David Cho, is sharing the heart of the message and explaining to the teacher like the incredible events or whatever is happening through this story, and what really is kind of the thing that you want your students to take away from it. But also it's just a matter of pouring into your teachers with encouragement and getting them excited about teaching the lesson as well. So I think that's a huge aspect that you don't see in much other curriculum out there. I don't even know, I can't even think of one off the top of my head that provides that. I might be wrong, but so, and then apart from just all the cool kids stuff that you get, the kids membership still includes all of Sharefaith's 80,000 church worship graphics. So this is a thing your whole church can use. So the media department for your worship and your services can grab PowerPoints, videos. You can get printouts for churches, for your church, for bulletins, flyers, and different things to promote services, promote events, holiday events, and things like that at the church. So all of that comes included with it as well, along with Sharefaith Presenter. So if you are using PowerPoint on a PC, Sharefaith Presenter is an awesome tool that adds on to PowerPoint, and it allows you to instantly connect to the Sharefaith Worship graphics library and the Kids Resource Library too for videos and PowerPoints that you can just plug right in, so that way your whole preparation time just gets cut down to seconds instead of hours. So that's a really cool tool that comes with it as well. And then last but certainly not least, Sharefaith Giving, which as far as kids and VBS goes, one of the coolest things about giving is the ability that, apart from the fact that people can sign up and give and donate through it, is they can also do event registration. So it makes it a wonderful tool for VBS registration. So you can put forms on your website, and we have some tutorials that talk about the event registration side, so you guys can play with that and see with it, and all of that comes with it. And yes, Chris Reed, who is helping me today, is actually our tutorial, what would I call him, the tutorial master, and he is the guy who is making all those, so he's making sure I am very clear that those are accessible on support.sharefaith.com.
You can do the Sharefaith Giving, the event registrations. You don't have to charge. You can make it a free event.
Oh yes, and that's a very good point. So even if you guys are doing so nobody has to pay to sign up for VBS, you can still do free forms through there, so it still works as an event registration form, so you still get all of the people registering and their information for your VBS needs. Alright, so now I've talked about all these cool things, and before we get into the Q&A, I just want to let you guys know, again, I know there are people here most likely who are not familiar with Sharefaith Kids and have just learned a whole lot and might be curious to see, how they can get started and everything. So the Sharefaith Kids plan, I mean, if you were going to throw out an estimate on something like this, I don't think you would get anywhere near the value that it is. So it is only $348 a year for the kids plan, and as I said, that includes all those awesome kids resources, the worship graphics from Sharefaith, and the online giving services in Sharefaith Presenter. And so that comes out to being about $29 a month when you break it down that way. So it's less than $1 a day, and you get all those awesome resources. So $348 a year right now. Now, apart from Sharefaith Kids, we also have some other amazing resources that are available through our complete plan that still include all the amazing things you get with kids and the graphics and everything like that. So when you upgrade to complete, you actually also get an awesome lesson planner and scheduler for Sharefaith Kids. And this is really cool. It's a fairly new feature we just released a few months ago, and my church has been using it already, and they said that it's been making their lives so much easier for their teachers to be able to send out email notifications notifications that have the direct downloads to the lessons they're going to be doing. It tells them what time they're going to be doing it. So that's an awesome resource for kids that comes available when you unlock, when you go to complete, and it unlocks it. On top of that, you also can have a church website. Could be for your church. You can have up to 4 of them. So you can do one for your church, one for your kids ministry, one for your VBS if you wanted to have a website just for that. For your youth ministry, for outreach, anything like that. So church websites are also included, and then we'll do free website migration. So if you guys already have a website somewhere else with through another provider and you want to switch to Sharefaith, if you're upgrading to complete, we'll move all that content over for you, no extra charge. And then we even provide a church mobile app, which by itself is a $1,000 value, included with complete. So you guys get your very own branded church mobile app with all your sermons and events and everything plugged in it, push notifications. So that is only $71 a month, billed annually, or you can do $80 month to month. Now, the cool thing, like I said, right now we are having a Memorial Day sale, so it's 20% off that amount. So you guys save like almost $200 when you go to complete yearly for right now, so you save for the entire year. So it's a huge savings. All right, so now let's go ahead, and I'm going to switch things back over to me. So if you guys have any other questions you'd like answered, I will be happy to do that for you. Let me switch it over real quick. All right, cool. So you guys see me? Perfect. Now, okay, so Chris says we got some questions people are asking.
Sean Harding is asking, are there platform, room decoration ideas included?
So platform or room decoration ideas included. We have actually some really awesome big print materials that we've made especially for Sharefaith Kids VBS. So there are banners that are included. They're like 4x8 banners, and I think we even have a larger one than that. I was just looking through it yesterday, and I'm forgetting all the sizes. But that is included with the promo pack. So you've got posters, you've got banners. Nothing in terms of like prop materials for it. So if you guys are doing anything like that, that would be something you'd have to kind of think of on the side, but we provide all the promotional and print materials that you guys could use. And then that's okay. So that's the main question we have so far.
I think you stunned them in the silence.
I stunned them in the silence. They're just like, oh my gosh, what am I waiting for? No, so yeah, if there's anything else you guys have questions about, and then I just want to encourage you guys too, like the other thing is, because we are so team-based, we're very focused on the success of what you guys are doing. Should anyone in your church who's using Sharefaith, if you guys, down to your volunteers who are just helping for the week, if anybody needs help with these resources, they can contact us. We have live support for you guys, so you can call us. We're here in the office Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. So reach us at you can go to support.sharefaith.com, and there's our phone number. You can reach us through chat, email, phone, whatever's easiest for you, and we will be happy to walk through anyone on your team to make sure they are fully confident in using these resources to the best of their ability. One other cool feature that I completely blanked on mentioning was the fact that Sharefaith Kids has its own app as well. So for teachers who are busy and want to be able to pull up their stuff and be able to prepare on the go, it's an awesome resource. They can just log right into their Sharefaith Kids account, and then you can have up to 16 teachers all together with Sharefaith Kids who can access the different materials. So once they log in, they can go through and see the different lessons, select the one they want to look at, and they'll be able to see everything for it. So it's really meant for teacher preparation, so they can kind of follow through with what's happening on it.
Is the VBS material geared towards a specific age range? That's Jessica that's asking the question.
Okay, yeah, no, the VBS is not geared towards a specific age range. Anyone, typically I would say ages 4 to 12 are going to be the most receptive towards the materials that come with it. I know my church, typically that's how we do VBS, is we open up VBS to ages 4 through 12. And so that's who we have coming, and we'll separate groups based on age ranges and grades and things like that. But then the same materials are typically taught across each group with maybe a few tweaks here and there on whatever activity that we're doing. So like there's some activity suggestions that you could look at. Like I feel like the content materials that are there are pretty applicable for anybody in that age range. The only thing you might look at is like how you're doing your activity spans and seeing like some things that are more physical, more fun. Like if you're going to do something like a more outdoor sporty activity, that might be better for some of the older kids. And then whereas the younger kids can do something more craft based, or they can still go outside and do something, but it'll be maybe not as like intensive, for them. So, and of course, that would be a thing where you would trust you as a director and your teachers to come up with plans for that and what you want to do with your kids that way.
Sean Harding asked, are the Sharefaith Kids curriculum easy to use for the non-tech savvy?
Yes. So the cool thing is everything is downloadable with the curriculum, so they can just pull it up and there's a lot of stuff like the curriculum guide itself is printable, so you guys can print that out if you rather have paper in your hand that you can keep track of. Then you can do that. So it has everything going on with that lesson and with that VBS schedule, so you guys can see that. Plus, for other things like the videos and stuff, you can download those so they can be saved onto a computer for people who just want to pull it up. Then it's just a normal video that they can just play through any player, whether that's PowerPoint, Windows Media Video, QuickTime, whatever. It's an MP4, so it'll play in just about anything. Plus, the slideshow itself is PowerPoint file, so it'll work with any version of PowerPoint, 1997 or newer, I believe. So you guys can pull that up and be able to use that on just about anything running PowerPoint, or even Keynote on a Mac, and just about any presentation software. I don't think there's any one I can think of where PowerPoint files don't work these days. So, is there anything else coming through?
1987.
1997, I think. 97, yeah.
I didn't even know.
1997. That's 20 years ago now.
I know.
Oh, I'm old. Anyways. So if you have an updated PowerPoint in 20 years, it might still work. So, but hopefully you have. I would hope so.
Yeah.
But
that would be a good idea.
I might recommend that after this webinar to go update PowerPoint if you haven't done so already to something past
365 for nonprofits.
Yeah, it's true. So lots of opportunities there. So, okay.
One of my favorite things about Sharefaith Kids is the ability to assign a lesson to a teacher and have them not have to filter through what they're going to download, because it just downloads a zip file.
That's true. Yeah, so Chris brings up an awesome tool thing too. So this goes to with being tech savvy, not that they have to go hunt and peck around for the different pieces that they need to put together for it, but when they download the lesson once it's given to them, like it literally downloads everything that they could possibly use for that lesson. So they may not end up using every single piece of it, but they'll have everything at their disposal, so they can just go in and say, yep, I'm going to use these printouts, I'm going to use this video, whatever they plan to do with it. And then there's more cool things from sharefaith.com that they can get as well. So, Sunday school teachers, I know a lot that are going in and they're pulling from the worship graphics too, to be able to have some more kind of like standardized slides that they can have at every service that they're doing for their kids when they have projection going on. Or they might be pulling some bulletin templates for that parents can be given, or that kids can, have for them as well. So
they can't do that through their teacher account, though.
No, that would be something where they have to be given access through, like you can create a sub-account for them, so you can have multiple sub-accounts and let people who are in those positions to be able to do that. Then you can give them access to media and kid stuff. So there's a lot of team friendliness there.
Sean is also asking, is there youth material for junior high or high school?
At this time, we don't have anything that's specifically geared towards junior high and high school. I'm a youth pastor, so I feel you, Sean. But I do occasionally use the main worship graphics and stuff when I'm teaching youth. And so, I've heard in some cases where there have been a couple junior high ministries that have told us they've used Sharefaith Kids in there. I don't know if they use it as a standard curriculum or if maybe they just pull a few things from it that their kids still really enjoy. So, the cool thing is you can do demos of all this material. So, like, I'm going to send you the first day of VBS, but we do have a Sharefaith Kids demo as well. So it comes with 4 free lessons that I'll send you guys a link to getting that demo started if you're interested in that. And then from there, you can actually, teach a few lessons in class and kind of see how your students respond. And if they're loving it, then you can know that it's a go to go ahead and get signed up. So we know that that can be a process with choosing the right curriculum and knowing that it's what your church wants to use. So,
is there a denominational slant for Sharefaith Kids?
No, no denominational slant. Like, it's not like, we're particularly like a lesson is like Baptist or Lutheran or Presbyterian or anything like that. A lot of the material, most of the material, actually I think all of the material comes directly from biblical accounts. So everything is based on stories from the Bible, the lessons, the foundations of faith. Everything talks about what the Bible has to say about the subject. Nothing is particularly geared towards like, I don't know, like nothing would throw a red flag, I guess, for any denomination, and we have people who've told us that too. They love how biblically based and gospel centered. Like I've had somebody come to me and say, like, I've never worked with a curriculum that was this focused on God before. Like, there's so many curriculums, however you say it, that just tend to focus way over onto the application side of things, and they kind of minimize the story or the actual passage of scripture that's coming from. And so we make it a point not to do that, and to really spend a good amount of time bringing in the context and bringing in the message to a level where children of all ages can understand it, and again providing resources that help teachers to accomplish that with their classrooms so that they can feel totally comfortable working with the resources they're given without having to worry about what it says or make any changes on their end. So,
yeah. One of the things I also like is how David, our Sharefaith Kids director, will actually give a overview of the lesson.
Yeah.
And tell you how to explain to your teachers and to you
right.
how to actually impart this lesson and use the resources.
Yes.
I love that. And that goes for a question that Charmaine had.
Uh-huh.
She said, what would you suggest for volunteers that have never used the Sharefaith materials?
So as far as like suggestions for them, like getting them into the system. So if they're volunteers who, like I said, you can have up to 16 teachers, so you can just grab their name and email from them, so that way you can get them plugged into, if you're using the, this is with the Sharefaith lesson planner now, if you are a complete member. I recommend that's a great way to just like make sure that they get their information that they need directly. They don't have to worry about looking around for stuff. Now, even if you don't have that, if you're a kids member, then you can simply go in, and I would just help them by giving them a schedule. So like as a director, being the person in charge, just to let them know when they're expected to teach, and preparing at least, I mean, I like to give people at least 6 weeks kind of notice if they're scheduled to teach somewhere in there, an idea of what lesson or lessons they are going to be teaching, and then from that point they can go in, if they want to, they can use the Sharefaith Kids app. It's free to download for iOS or Android, and they can find a lesson and look at it there, or you can even download the materials for them if you want to, if they're not familiar with how to do that themselves. But it's a very simple process. I sat down with my team when we first started. I showed them just what they do to go find an activity or find a lesson, and then in there's an option where they can choose the download format, or there's the see full lesson or full curriculum, and then if they click on that, it'll literally download a zip pack that has all the materials in it like we talked about before. So that's another option too, that just makes it so much easier. So if they find a lesson and they go, oh, I want to make sure I get all of the things that come with this, then they can click on that green button and it'll download a zip pack that has everything for them. Yeah. Okay, well, good. Lots of great questions, though, you guys. And as I said before, if this is something you guys have been thinking about for a while, or you're looking to upgrade to Sharefaith Kids if you're already a Sharefaith Media member, or if you're looking to or upgrade to Complete if you're already a website member, or whatever case is, if you guys are looking at getting signed up, now is a fantastic time. Today or tomorrow, we're doing 20% off. Our kids plan, sadly, is not included in that, but our Complete plan is. So if you guys are looking at getting 20% off, I mean, that's a huge savings. As I said, it's close to $200 that you save by doing that right now. So talk with your board members. Feel free to share this webinar. I'll send you guys a replay for it so you guys can share it with other team members and kind of get an idea of what they think. And as I said, I'll also send the first day of VBS to you guys, so you'll get a pack with all that all those materials so you can really see what comes with it. And then feel free to, I'll send you a link to our Sharefaith Kids demo for our full curriculum. And it's all included. There's no extra cost for one side or the other. It's just part of the package. We're already working on VBS for next year even too. So we really want to make sure we're doing everything we can to provide you guys with amazing resources that you can use year in and year out with your membership with us. So if you guys have any other questions come up, if you guys have any feedback for us you'd like to share, we'd love to hear it. We'll be on for just a little bit longer here, and then if you guys have any questions after that though, be sure to reach out to us at support.sharefaith.com, and you can talk with Chris, who's here with us today. He's on our support team, or any other fabulous members of Sharefaith support team, and our member coaches who are here to help you guys out any way we can. So other than that, let's go ahead and pray, and then we'll close out here. Father God, I thank you for, again, just the opportunities that we are given to be able to have so many different ways that we can go about it. But God, the ultimate mission is to share the gospel and to spread the gospel to wherever our reach is, Lord, to the children of our communities, to those who are part of the growing generation, Lord, to the parents of the children, to our church as a whole, Lord, to our community as a whole. God, we know that there are so many opportunities in this way. And so we ask that whatever those of us who are here today, who are part of this webinar, who are attending or otherwise, Lord, I ask just that you would use them mightily in whatever position they are in, that they would see whatever they need to do or whoever they need to speak to. God, I ask that you would bring other people around them who are the right fit to volunteer and to help in any capacity that they need it, Father. And I just ask that you would bring things together for them smoothly as VBS goes, and give them strength and energy and encouragement as they go forth with it, Father. And we thank you and we love you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, well, thank you guys again so much. I appreciate you guys being here. And again, love to hear from you. If there's anything else you guys would like to ask, let us know. And you guys have a great day. God bless.